The sun hung low over the sparkling sea, casting golden ribbons across the waves as the small white boat glided gently toward the mysterious island of Eldara. This island was unlike any other, whispered about in sailors' tales and travelers' secrets, nestled far beyond the well-trodden paths of the Mediterranean. Elias Moreau had heard the legends all his life. A restless soul and a seeker of mysteries, he had traveled the world chasing stories that hovered on the edge of belief, ancient ruins swallowed by time, forgotten villages where the past breathed softly through cracked walls, and islands shrouded in magic no map dared reveal. Eldara was the newest chapter in his quest. Unlike the tourists who flocked to sun-soaked beaches and crowded ports, Elias had a different purpose. Rumors told of a hidden cove somewhere along Eldara's rugged coast, a place untouched by modern footsteps, where the veil between reality and legend grew thin. It was said that those who found it would glimpse wonders beyond imagining, and perhaps, a secret that would change their understanding of the world forever. As the boat cut through turquoise waters shimmering with hints of emerald, Elias felt a stirring in his chest, part excitement, part caution. His companion on this journey was a keen-eyed woman named Lyra, an expert in ancient languages and an adventurer in her own right. Together, they made a curious pair, he, with his wandering heart and thirst for mystery, she, with her razor intellect and calm determination. "This island seems peaceful enough," Lyra said softly, her gaze tracing the jagged cliffs rising sharply from the sea. "But I've read stories of strange lights and voices carried by the wind. Do you think the locals believe those tales?" Elias smiled, a hint of mischief in his eyes. "Every place has its ghosts, Lyra. Sometimes they're real, sometimes they're echoes of memory. Either way, they make the story worth telling." The boat pulled into a small, hidden harbor surrounded by ancient olive groves and crumbling stone walls. Here, the modern world faded quickly. Narrow cobblestone paths wound up through terraced vineyards, and the scent of wild thyme and salt air mingled with the soft murmur of distant waves. Elias stepped onto the dock and took a deep breath, savoring the crisp air. "This is it," he said. "Eldara, a place where history and mystery entwine." Their first days on Eldara were a blend of discovery and quiet wonder. They wandered through abandoned villages with cracked frescoes and moss-covered statues, and explored caves where the walls glittered faintly with mineral veins. At night, the sky stretched wide and unblemished, stars dripping like silver lanterns overhead. One evening, as Elias and Lyra sat by a fire outside their humble lodging, an elderly fisherman named Matteo approached. His weathered face creased into a knowing smile. "You seek the Cove of Whispers, yes?" he asked in a voice as rough as the sea breeze. Elias nodded eagerly. "We do." "Have you been there?" Matteo chuckled softly. "Many have tried, few have returned with more than tales of the wind. The cove is not marked on any chart. It reveals itself only to those who listen." Lyra leaned forward, intrigued. "Listen to what?" "The stories," Matteo said, his eyes gleaming. "The island speaks in voices carried by the sea mist, guiding those who know how to hear." That night, Elias lay awake pondering Mateo's words. Was the cove merely a place, or something more, a doorway, a test, or a memory etched into the island's very soul? The next morning, armed with Mateo's cryptic directions, Elias and Lyra set out to find the hidden cove. They climbed steep cliffs blanketed in wildflowers, crossed ancient stone bridges spanning crystalline streams, and pushed through groves where shafts of sunlight danced among the leaves. Hours passed. Just as fatigue began to claim them, a soft, ethereal melody floated on the breeze. It was faint, like a song from another world, pulling them onward. Then, through a veil of mist, they saw it, a secluded inlet sheltered by towering cliffs, its waters shimmering with an otherworldly light. The air was thick with the scent of salt and something undefinable magic, perhaps, or memory. Elias stepped closer, heart pounding. The Cove of Whispers was real. As they explored the shoreline, they found strange markings etched into smooth stone symbols resembling constellations and ancient scripts lost to time. Lyra traced her fingers over them, her mind racing to decipher their meaning. Suddenly, the ground trembled gently, and from the depths of the cove, a luminous figure emerged, a guardian of Eldara, woven from light and sea foam, eyes reflecting the endless sky. "You have come," the figure spoke without words, its voice echoing inside their minds. "The island has awaited those who listen, those who seek beyond sight." Elias and Lyra exchanged amazed glances. This was no ordinary place. Eldara held secrets older than history itself. The guardian gestured to the horizon, where the sun cast a radiant path across the sea. "Your journey begins now. To understand the island's whispers, you must listen with more than ears." As the figure dissolved into mist, Elias felt a surge of purpose. This was only the first step. Eldara had many stories to tell, and he was ready to hear them all. The morning sun filtered through the olive branches as Elias and Lyra prepared to delve deeper into the mysteries of Eldara. The encounter with the luminous guardian had ignited a fire within them, a call to unravel the island's secrets hidden beneath its serene surface. Mateo, the old fisherman, had warned them that the Cove of Whispers was just the beginning. "The island speaks in echoes," he said, eyes twinkling with old knowledge. "You must learn to listen not only to the wind but to the waters below." Elias strapped his worn leather satchel tight, checking the maps and notes they had gathered so far. Lyra adjusted her pack, her fingers tracing the strange symbols they found etched on the stones near the cove. None of the ancient scripts matched any known language she had studied, but there was a rhythm, a pattern that hinted at a forgotten code. "We should start with the underwater ruins," Mateo mentioned, Lyra suggested. "If the cove is a gateway, maybe the ruins hold the key to understanding the whispers." Elias nodded. "And I want to explore those legends about the sea sentinels, guardians said to protect Eldara from intruders and keep its magic alive." They arranged for a local boat to take them along the jagged coastline to the ruins, a submerged city swallowed by time and sea, known only to a few. As they set off, the water was calm and crystal clear, revealing glimpses of coral gardens and schools of shimmering fish. But beneath the beauty lay shadows, dark crevices and twisted pillars that whispered of ancient calamities. Once anchored near the ruins, Elias and Lyra donned their diving gear. The cold embrace of the sea surprised Elias, but he felt exhilarated rather than deterred. They dove beneath the surface, the sunbeams filtering through the water creating a kaleidoscope of colors around them. The ruins stretched out like a forgotten labyrinth, arches encrusted with coral, statues half consumed by algae, and mosaics that still shimmered faintly with hidden light. Lyra pointed to a large stone tablet, half buried in sand. "Look at this, the symbols match those from the Cove of Whispers." Elias carefully brushed away the sand, revealing a map etched into the stone lines connecting points both on land and beneath the sea, a constellation of paths leading toward the island's heart. Suddenly, a pulse of energy vibrated through the water. Elias felt a strange warmth envelop his chest, and for a moment, the underwater world shifted. The ruins seemed to glow faintly, as if awakening. A low, melodic hum filled the depths. It wasn't just sound, it was a song ancient and alive. Lyra grabbed Elias's arm, eyes wide. "The sea sentinels. They're near." From the shadows emerged enormous creatures, ethereal beings made of water and light, their forms shifting like liquid glass. They circled gracefully, their eyes deep pools of wisdom. Elias felt no fear. Instead, an overwhelming sense of peace washed over him. The sentinels were not threats, they were guardians, watchers of Eldara's soul. One of the sentinels approached, extending a tendril of shimmering water that gently touched Elias's forehead. Images flooded his mind: Eldara's birth from the sea's embrace, ancient rituals to protect its magic, and a prophecy of two outsiders destined to restore balance. As Elias surfaced gasping for air, Lyra followed quickly, excitement blazing in her eyes. "We've been chosen," Elias said breathlessly. "The island's magic is alive, and it's calling us to something greater." Back on the boat, Matteo waited with a knowing smile. The island reveals its truth only to those who respect its spirit. That evening, as they shared a simple meal of freshly caught fish and sun-ripened vegetables, Elias and Lyra poured over their findings. The map suggested a hidden temple atop Eldara's highest peak, a place where sky and sea met in eternal embrace. "But reaching the summit won't be easy," Lyra warned. "The path is steep, and the island guards its secrets fiercely." Elias's eyes gleamed with determination. "We've come this far. Whatever awaits us, we'll face it together." As stars blanketed the sky, whispers drifted on the breeze, promises of adventures yet to unfold, mysteries to unravel, and a destiny intertwined with the very soul of Eldara. The dawn broke crisp and clear over Eldara, painting the horizon with streaks of amber and rose. Elias and Lyra packed their gear with quiet urgency. Today marked the beginning of the climb toward the legendary Skyward Temple, the island's highest peak and the heart of its ancient magic. Matteo handed them a small wooden talisman carved from driftwood. "For protection," he said, voice gravelly but sincere. "And a reminder that Eldara watches over those who respect her." With the talisman secured around his neck, Elias felt a renewed sense of courage. Lyra checked the map once more. The stone tablet from the underwater ruins had revealed a rough trail weaving through dense forests, rocky outcrops, and whispering winds. The path was steep and treacherous, with thick roots twisting beneath their feet and sudden drops to dizzying depths. Shadows of gnarled trees danced in the morning light, and the air was alive with the scent of pine and sea salt. As they climbed, strange symbols carved into stones appeared along the route similar to those found in the cove and underwater. Lyra paused, tracing a finger over one carving. It's like a language made of signs. Almost like the island is guiding us. Suddenly, a rustling in the underbrush startled them. Out leapt a lithe figure, a young woman with sharp eyes and a confident smile. She wore simple clothes but moved with the grace of one born in the wild. "I'm Saran," she said, extending a hand. "I've watched you from the village. Eldara's secrets aren't for just anyone." Elias shook her hand cautiously. "We mean no harm. We seek only to understand." Saran's gaze softened. "Then you'll need more than courage. You'll need the heart of the island." She led them along a narrow trail hidden beneath a canopy of vines. The forest thickened until they reached a crystal-clear spring bubbling from the earth. "Drink," Saran urged. "This water is blessed. It sharpens the senses and connects you to Eldara's spirit." Elias and Lyra drank deeply, feeling a cool energy course through their veins. The world seemed clearer, sounds sharper, colors richer, and the whispering wind took on voices of its own. As they resumed the climb, the terrain grew harsher. Jagged rocks scraped their hands and boots, and a sudden storm rolled in, darkening the sky. Lightning cracked and thunder roared, forcing them to seek shelter beneath a massive stone arch. There, etched into the rock, was a relief depicting a winged figure holding a staff crowned with a glowing orb. Lyra whispered, "The skyward guardian, protector of the temple and keeper of knowledge." A sudden gust swept through the archway, carrying a voice like a chorus. "Only those pure of purpose may pass." Elias felt the weight of the challenge. He stepped forward and raised his talisman. A soft glow pulsed from the wood, illuminating the carved figure. The storm calmed instantly, and the clouds parted to reveal a shimmering path upward. "Your journey has been acknowledged," the voice echoed. "But trials remain. Face them with wisdom and courage." The path led to a narrow ridge hugging the mountainside, where the winds howled like ancient spirits. Elias's heart pounded as they balanced carefully, each step a test of resolve. At last, they reached a plateau, and there it stood, the skyward temple. Built from white marble veined with gold, it seemed to glow under the sun, a beacon between earth and sky. As they entered, the air hummed with power. Walls were inscribed with constellations, legends, and prophecies. At the center, a stone pedestal cradled a crystal pulsating with light, the heart of Eldara. Lyra reached out but hesitated. "This energy. It's alive." Elias nodded, feeling the magic ripple through him. "It's the source, the reason Eldara has survived untouched for so long." Suddenly, the temple trembled. Shadows gathered, coalescing into figures, echoes of the island's past guardians. They spoke in unison, "Prove your worth, seekers." A series of tests began, riddles whispered by the stars, illusions woven from memory, and challenges that pushed their trust in each other to the limit. Through every trial, Elias and Lyra's bond deepened, their understanding of Eldara growing stronger. They realized that the island was not just a place but a living entity, bound to those who dared to listen. When the final challenge was met, the crystal's light surged, enveloping them in warmth and clarity. "You have been chosen," the voices intoned. "Guardians of Eldara's legacy. Protect her truths, and she will protect you." As the sun dipped below the horizon, Elias and Lyra stood together, ready to face whatever mysteries Eldara still held. As twilight cloaked Eldara in shades of violet and silver, Elias and Lyra lingered in the temple sanctum, still basking in the crystal's radiant warmth. The weight of their new role as guardians pressed gently but insistently upon their minds. Suddenly, a faint whisper stirred the air, a voice, fragile as a breeze yet sharp with urgency. "Beware the forgotten," it warned. Before they could react, the temple's walls flickered, revealing spectral images, scenes of an ancient conflict, battles between Eldara's original protectors and a mysterious force that sought to corrupt the island's magic. Out from the shadows stepped a figure cloaked in tattered robes, eyes gleaming like embers. "I am Kalen," he declared, voice low and commanding. "Once, I served Eldara's light, but betrayal twisted my path." Elias tightened his grip on the talisman. "What do you want?" Kalen's gaze pierced them. "To reclaim what was lost. The island's power is fractured, and darkness creeps beneath the waves. If the balance is not restored, Eldara will fall." Lyra stepped forward, her voice steady. "Then help us save it." Kalen nodded slowly. "But first, you must understand the island's true nature, a nexus of worlds, where time flows unevenly and memories intertwine." Over the following days, Kalen guided them through hidden passages beneath the temple tunnels carved deep into the island's heart. There, murals told tales forgotten by history, of Eldara's origins as a bridge between realms, and the price paid to protect its secret. One night, as a fierce storm battered the island, Elias dreamt of a vast labyrinth submerged beneath the sea, twisting corridors lined with glowing runes, guarded by shadowy beasts. Awakening with a start, he shared the vision with Lyra and Kalen. "The labyrinth, it's a prison, or maybe a sanctuary. We need to explore it." The next morning, they set out with renewed purpose, journeying to the island's northern shore where dark waters whispered of the unknown. Diving into the cold depths, they discovered an entrance to the labyrinth, a swirling vortex of light and shadow. Inside, time seemed to fold and stretch. Past and present merged as they navigated shifting passages and faced trials that tested not only their strength but their very identities. Whispers echoed, memories surfaced. Elias glimpsed fragments of a past life intertwined with Eldara, while Lyra confronted fears long buried. Deeper into the labyrinth, they encountered beings caught between worlds, lost souls and ancient protectors alike, all bound to Eldara's fate. At the heart of the maze, they found a shattered relic, the core of balance, source of the island's power, cracked and bleeding energy. Callan revealed the terrible truth: the darkness came from within, born of greed and fear. To save Eldara, we must restore the core. The path forward was perilous. They needed to gather fragments scattered across the island, each guarded by elemental trials testing mind, body, and spirit. United by purpose and strengthened by their trials, Elias, Lyra, and Callan vowed to face the dangers ahead to heal Eldara and protect the legacy entrusted to them. As they emerged from the labyrinth, dawn's first light touched the island, promising hope, and the promise of adventure yet to come. The air on Eldara grew heavy with anticipation as Elias, Lyra, and Callan prepared for the daunting quest ahead. The shattered core of balance demanded restoration, but its fragments were scattered, each protected by fierce elemental guardians testing the strength and resolve of those who dared approach. Their first destination was the Forest of Whispers, an ancient woodland said to be alive with sentient trees and elusive spirits. The forest breathed with magic, leaves shimmering with iridescent hues, and every rustle seemed to carry secrets just beyond hearing. As they entered, the shadows thickened. Whispering voices wove through the branches, challenging their deepest fears and doubts. Elias struggled as the forest twisted memories of his past failures and regrets, threatening to consume his will. Only Lyra's steady voice and Callan's guiding presence pulled him back from the brink. Suddenly, the earth trembled and from the undergrowth emerged the first guardian, a colossal stag wreathed in vines and glowing with emerald light. Its eyes held ancient wisdom and quiet power. To claim the first fragment, it intoned, "You must prove your harmony with life itself." A trial of balance and respect followed. The trio had to navigate shifting routes, heal wounded plants with newfound empathy, and listen deeply to the forest's heartbeat. Only by acting in unity with nature did the guardian bow, granting them the fragment of earth. Their journey continued to the shattered cliffs, where fierce winds howled through jagged rocks. Here, the trial of air awaited, a tempestuous test of agility and clarity. High atop the cliffs, Elias found himself facing illusions conjured by the wind, reflections of his own fears of failure and doubt. Lyra's sharp intellect deciphered the patterns, guiding them safely through the storm's fury. The guardian of air, a majestic hawk of shimmering silver feathers, appeared, acknowledging their perseverance and awarding the fragment of air. Next was the trial of fire, set deep within the island's volcanic heart, a cavern alive with molten rivers and flickering flames. The heat was suffocating, and the air crackled with raw power. Callan's eyes glowed with ancient fire as he led them through the labyrinth of lava flows and fiery chasms. The guardian of fire, a magnificent phoenix blazing with golden flames, challenged their courage and resolve. In a fierce battle of wills, Elias and Lyra faced their inner flames, passion, anger, and fear. Through trust and sacrifice, they overcame the inferno, earning the fragment of fire and the phoenix's blessing. The trial of water awaited beneath the sea in a submerged grotto bathed in eerie blue light. The realm of fluidity and change tested their adaptability and emotional depth. Diving into the depths, they encountered the guardian of water, a serpentine creature woven from waves and mist. It challenged them with puzzles reflecting the flow of life and the power of letting go. Navigating currents both literal and emotional, Elias and Lyra learned to surrender control, embracing the ebb and flow of fate. The serpent bestowed upon them the fragment of water. With 4 fragments secured, only one remained, the elusive fragment of spirit, hidden within the island's core. Kalen warned, this final trial is unlike the others. It demands unity, sacrifice, and the deepest connection to Eldara itself. As night fell, the trio gathered beneath the starlit sky, the fragments glowing softly in their hands. They felt the island's heartbeat pulse beneath their feet, calling them onward. The path ahead was uncertain and fraught with danger, but together they stood ready to face whatever Eldara had in store. The glow from the 4 elemental fragments bathed the night in a mystical light as Elias, Lyra, and Kalen prepared to face the final trial, the fragment of spirit. Yet, an uneasy silence fell over Eldara, as if the island itself held its breath. Their path led them to an ancient grove, hidden beyond the edge of the forest of whispers, where twisted branches formed a natural archway shimmering faintly in moonlight. Here, the veil between the worlds was thin, and legends spoke of spirits wandering freely. As they stepped through, a chilling breeze swept around them, carrying whispers of forgotten memories and unspoken fears. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, a woman draped in flowing robes of silver and blue, eyes reflecting both sorrow and strength. Her name was Selene, the island's lost oracle, bound between life and death by a curse long ago. I have watched you, she said softly. Your journey has stirred the ancient echoes. But to claim the fragment of spirit, you must confront the truth hidden deep within your own souls. Selene's presence pulled Elias and Lyra into visions vivid, haunting scenes of their pasts and possible futures intertwined with Eldara's fate. Elias saw himself alone, lost to obsession, abandoning those he loved in pursuit of knowledge. Lyra confronted her deepest fear, losing control and failing those who depended on her. Kalen's mask slipped momentarily, revealing a man tormented by guilt and regret, burdened by a past betrayal that had fractured Eldara's balance. Together, they realized that the final trial was not just about the island, but about healing their own fractured spirits. Guided by Selene, they journeyed deeper into the grove where a shimmering pool reflected the constellations above. Placing the 4 elemental fragments into the pool's center, they awaited the emergence of the spirit fragment. The water stirred, and from its depths rose a radiant orb pulsating with pure energy. As Elias reached out, a shadowy figure lunged, an embodiment of their fears and doubts, a test of their unity and resolve. In a desperate battle of wills, they fought the darkness, drawing strength from each other and their shared purpose. When the shadow dissolved into light, the orb merged with the fragments, and a surge of energy coursed through Eldara. The island awakened, magic weaving through every tree, stone, and wave. Eldara's heart beat strong once more. But as dawn broke, Selene's form began to fade. My time has passed, she whispered. Guard the island well, for shadows still linger beyond the horizon. With heavy hearts but renewed purpose, Elias, Lyra, and Kalen prepared for the challenges that awaited their bond sealed by trials, their destiny intertwined with Eldara's eternal mystery. Eldara pulsed with newfound energy, but the peace was fragile. Far beyond the island's serene shores, a dark storm brewed, a creeping shadow eager to exploit the island's vulnerable heart. Elias, Lyra, and Kalen sensed the unrest. The bond forged through trials was strong, but the coming threat demanded more than strength. It called for courage, sacrifice, and trust in the unseen. As they convened in the temple's great hall, Matteo arrived with grave news. Strange figures had been seen lurking near the village, outsiders seeking Eldara's power for their own dark ambitions. Determined to protect the island, the trio devised a plan to uncover the identity of these intruders. Their investigation led them into the village's depths, where whispers of an ancient secret society surfaced. The Veilbound. Legend held that the Veilbound had once attempted to harness Eldara's magic but were banished, their remnants sworn to shadow and secrecy. Elias infiltrated their hidden enclave, discovering plans to fracture Eldara's magic anew. Lyra and Kaelin rallied the island's defenders, preparing for a confrontation that would decide Eldara's fate. The battle was fierce. Magic clashed with steel, light battled darkness under a sky torn by thunder. Amidst chaos, a shocking betrayal revealed itself. One of their closest allies had been a Veilbound agent all along, sowing discord and doubt. But united by trust and resolve, Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin overcame, sealing the threat once more. As dawn broke over the battered island, hope rekindled. Yet, the shadow's warning lingered. Eldara's true test had only just begun. The aftermath of the battle left Eldara scarred but unbroken. The island's magic pulsed faintly beneath the surface, as if holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin stood amid the ruins of the once peaceful village, the weight of their responsibility settling heavily upon their shoulders. Matteo, the elder fisherman, approached them with a solemn expression. The Veilbound were only the beginning, he warned. There are forces older and darker that watch from the shadows. Eldara's whispering winds carry warnings if only we choose to listen. The trio knew their journey was far from over. Guided by Matteo's wisdom and the island's enigmatic whispers, they set out to uncover the deeper secrets of Eldara. Their path led them through ancient forests where the trees seemed alive, their branches swaying with voices only the most attuned could hear. As they ventured deeper, Lyra noticed subtle changes in the air, a tension that prickled the skin and stirred memories long buried. The island itself seemed to test them, weaving illusions and shadows that challenged their perceptions and resolve. One night, beneath a sky heavy with stars, Elias was drawn to a solitary hill where the wind sang a haunting melody. There, he discovered an ancient altar carved with symbols that resonated with the fragments they had gathered. As he placed the fragments upon the altar, a vision unfolded before him, a glimpse of Eldara's past, when it was a sanctuary for beings who bridged worlds. The vision revealed a prophecy: only when the Guardians embraced both light and shadow within themselves could the island's true power be awakened. Elias understood then that their trials were not just about protecting Eldara, but about confronting their own inner darkness. Meanwhile, Lyra uncovered a hidden chamber beneath the temple, filled with scrolls and relics that hinted at a lost civilization and a forgotten war that had shaped Eldara's fate. The knowledge within these texts was both a blessing and a burden, revealing the stakes of their quest and the sacrifices it demanded. Kaelin, wrestling with his own past, sought redemption by guiding Elias and Lyra through the island's spiritual realms, teaching them to harness the delicate balance of Eldara's magic. Together, they prepared for the challenges ahead, knowing that the island's whispering winds carried both hope and danger. As dawn broke, the trio stood united, ready to face whatever shadows lurked beyond the horizon. Eldara's story was far from over, and their destiny was intertwined with the island's eternal song. The whispers of Eldara grew louder, guiding Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin toward the island's most guarded secret, the labyrinth of lost souls. Hidden beneath the ancient ruins, the labyrinth was said to be a nexus where time and memory intertwined, a place where the past lingered like a shadow, and the line between reality and dream blurred. Determined to uncover the labyrinth's mysteries, the trio descended into the cool darkness beneath the temple. The air was thick with ancient magic, and the walls pulsed faintly with a living energy. Every step echoed with the weight of countless forgotten memories. As they ventured deeper, Elias felt a strange sensation of pull, as if the labyrinth itself was alive and aware of their presence. The passages shifted subtly, twisting and turning in patterns that defied logic. Lyra's keen mind worked tirelessly to map their path, but the labyrinth seemed intent on leading them somewhere and nowhere at once. Along the way, they encountered echoes of past travelers, ghostly figures trapped in endless loops of regret and longing. One specter, a young woman named Seraphine, reached out to them, her voice a haunting melody of sorrow and hope. She revealed fragments of Eldara's forgotten history, warning them of the darkness that had once threatened to consume the island. The labyrinth tested their minds and hearts with illusions born from their deepest fears and desires. Elias faced visions of failure and loss, while Lyra confronted shadows of doubt that challenged her resolve. Kaelin wrestled with the guilt that had haunted him for centuries, seeking forgiveness in the labyrinth's depths. Together, they pressed on, their bond strengthening with every trial. At the labyrinth's heart, they discovered a chamber bathed in ethereal light, where a pedestal held the key to restoring Eldara's balance, the Crystal of Unity. But the crystal was guarded by a formidable entity, a manifestation of the island's collective fears and pain. The Guardian challenged them not with brute force, but with a trial of compassion and understanding. Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin each shared their burdens, acknowledging their flaws and embracing their humanity. Their courage and empathy shattered the Guardian's form, allowing them to claim the crystal. With the Crystal of Unity in hand, the island's magic surged, healing wounds both ancient and new. Eldara's heart beat stronger, its whispers now songs of hope and renewal. Emerging from the labyrinth, the trio knew their journey was far from over. The shadows still lingered, but united by trust and purpose, they were ready to face whatever fate awaited. The air hung heavy with anticipation as Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin prepared to venture beyond the known edges of Eldara. With the Crystal of Unity glowing softly in their possession, a new path had revealed itself, a shimmering portal nestled within the ancient temple, whispering promises of truths long buried. Stepping through the portal was like crossing a veil between worlds. The familiar landscapes of Eldara faded, replaced by a realm suspended between time and memory, the Forgotten Realm. Here, echoes of Eldara's past danced like phantoms across a twilight sky, and the boundaries between reality and dreams were fluid and uncertain. The trio found themselves on a vast plain dotted with ruins shimmering with faint, otherworldly light. The ground beneath them hummed with ancient magic, and the horizon was painted with swirling mists that seemed to conceal secrets and dangers alike. As they explored, the whispers grew clearer, revealing stories of Eldara's origin, a convergence point of countless realms, a sanctuary for lost souls, and a battleground for forces seeking to control the essence of existence itself. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the mist, a woman clad in armor of woven starlight, her eyes reflecting the cosmos. She introduced herself as Amara, the guardian of the Forgotten Realm, bound to protect its secrets until the rightful heirs restored balance. Amara warned them that the realm was not merely a place but a living entity, shaped by the memories and emotions of those who entered. To navigate it, they would need to confront not only external threats but also the shadows within themselves. Their first trial came swiftly, the Mirror of Reflection, a towering obsidian monolith that revealed their deepest fears and darkest desires. Elias saw visions of losing those he cared for, Lyra confronted the weight of responsibility crushing her spirit, and Kaelin faced the irreversible consequences of his past betrayals. By sharing their vulnerabilities and supporting each other, they shattered the mirror's illusions and gained a fragment of the realm's power, a shard of pure starlight that pulsed with healing energy. Their journey led them to the wellspring of memories, a crystalline lake reflecting the intertwined histories of Eldara and the Forgotten Realm. As they drank from its waters, visions flooded their minds: ancient battles, lost civilizations, and the timeless struggle between light and shadow. But danger lurked in the form of the wraiths of regret, shadowy figures born from sorrow and guilt, seeking to trap the travelers in endless loops of despair. A fierce battle erupted, testing their strength, will, and unity. Through sacrifice and unyielding resolve, they banished the wraiths, earning Amara's trust and unlocking the final path toward the heart of the Forgotten, the source of the realm's power and the key to Eldara's salvation. At the heart, they found a radiant crystal pulsating with the combined essence of all realms, a beacon of hope and renewal. As Elias reached out, the crystal responded to their unity, its light enveloping them in warmth and clarity. The Forgotten Realm began to dissolve, folding back into the fabric of reality, leaving behind a renewed Eldara, vibrant, alive, and brimming with magic. Emerging from the portal, the trio felt transformed, their bonds deeper, their purpose clearer. But as the island basked in newfound light, distant shadows stirred, reminding them that the path ahead remained fraught with mystery and challenge. The renewal of Eldara filled the island with vibrant energy, yet beneath the surface, an uneasy tension simmered. Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin sensed that the battles they had faced were but the beginning of a greater struggle, one that spanned not just Eldara, but the thin veil separating worlds. The island's magic thrummed with urgency as whispers guided them to the ancient Gateway of Echoes, a monumental archway carved with celestial runes and guarded by statues weathered by time. Legend spoke of this gateway as a portal to realms beyond their own, a threshold between reality and the unknown. Guided by Amara's lingering spirit and the power of the Crystal of Unity, the trio prepared to cross into the realm of shadows, a place where forgotten memories and latent magic intertwined, and where the fate of Eldara might be decided. As they stepped through the gateway, the world around them shifted. A twilight haze enveloped their surroundings, transforming familiar landscapes into surreal vistas of shifting light and shadow. Time flowed inconsistently, moments stretching and contracting like ripples on a pond. They found themselves in the nexus, a convergence point where all worlds touched and intertwined. Here, they confronted manifestations of their deepest fears and desires, each challenge peeling back layers of doubt and strengthening their resolve. But the nexus also revealed truths long hidden. Kaelin's past betrayal was intertwined with a faction of shadowy beings known as the Umbral Court, entities seeking to unravel Eldara's magic and claim its power for themselves. To protect the island, Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin forged an uneasy alliance with remnants of the Veilbound who sought redemption, and together they uncovered the Umbral Court's plot to sever the Crystal of Unity's connection, plunging Eldara into eternal darkness. A climactic confrontation unfolded amid the swirling energies of the Nexus. Magic clashed with shadow as alliances were tested, sacrifices made, and the true strength of the Guardians revealed. In the final moments, Kaelin faced his own darkness, choosing to confront and redeem his past rather than run from it. His act of courage strengthened the crystal, banishing the Umbral Court and restoring balance. As the Nexus faded and the veil between worlds settled, Eldara basked in a serene glow. Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin returned to the island, forever changed and bound to its destiny. Their journey was far from over. Eldara's whispers promised new adventures, hidden truths, and a legacy that would echo through time. The sun rose over Eldara, casting warm light on a land forever changed. Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin stood together at the summit of the skyward temple, their hearts heavy yet hopeful. The trials they had faced, the shadows they had conquered, and the bonds forged in fire and spirit had led them to this moment, the final chapter in Eldara's ancient tale. The island itself seemed to breathe around them, alive with magic, memories, and the songs of countless souls who had protected it through the ages. The crystal of unity pulsed steadily in their hands, a beacon of balance and renewal. But as they prepared to seal Eldara's fate, a new presence stirred the spirit of Selene, the lost oracle, returned in radiant form. Her eyes sparkled with wisdom beyond time. "You have walked the path of shadows and light," she spoke softly. "Your journey was not only to save Eldara, but to understand that all things joy and sorrow, creation and destruction are threads in the eternal song." With a graceful gesture, Selene opened a portal revealing Eldara's true nature, a nexus where countless worlds converged, where time flowed like a river of stars, and where the island's magic was a melody resonating through existence itself. The Guardians realized their role was eternal, not to possess Eldara's power, but to be its voice, its protectors, and its listeners. The island's whispers were a call to balance, understanding, and harmony. As they joined hands, the crystal of unity ascended, scattering light across the skies. Eldara's magic blossomed, weaving new life, healing old wounds, and strengthening the veil between worlds. In the days that followed, the island welcomed visitors anew, wanderers, seekers, and those with hearts open to its mysteries. Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin became guides, storytellers, and guardians, their lives intertwined with Eldara's eternal song. But the story was never truly over. For Eldara's whispers carried on the wind, a timeless melody inviting new voices, new journeys, and the endless dance of light and shadow. And so, beneath the endless sky and shimmering seas, the island thrived, a sanctuary of magic, memory, and hope. Title: Eldara, the Guardians of the Whispering Isle. Description: Journey to Eldara, a mystical island where ancient magic, forgotten realms, and timeless secrets intertwine. Follow Elias, Lyra, and Kaelin as they embark on a perilous quest to restore the island's shattered balance by facing elemental trials, confronting shadows from their pasts, and unraveling mysteries. that transcend worlds. From underwater ruins to celestial temples, and through realms of memory and spirit, this epic tale explores courage, redemption, and the eternal dance between light and shadow. Will the Guardians succeed in protecting Eldara's eternal song, or will darkness consume its magic forever?